Nigeria, by extension, Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. I want to begin the show today on a very sad note. This is just to send our love to Franca. You remember we had talked about cancer yesterday. Unfortunately, we lost her dad, to cancer. So this is just to put our warmth and our love and our support, at this trying time. Please, 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 screening is important. It is important that you go get screened so early detection can really save lives. But Franca, we love you and we send our love to you this evening. All right, so insecurity and kidnapping has become pervasive threats to the safety and well-being of citizens in Nigeria. Despite repeated promises from government officials and law enforcement agencies to tackle these issues, the problem persists. The alarming frequency and brazen nature of kidnappings have created a climate of fear, undermining trust in institutions and leaving many to wonder, is there a genuine fight to curb insecurity and kidnapping? Now, this question cuts to the heart of a crisis that has been allowed to fester far too long, and it demands a critical examination of the efforts being made to address it. So it's another episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways. My name remains Osayua Mesale, and tonight we'll be asking if there's any genuine fight or to curb insecurity, especially kidnapping in Nigeria. Now remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways. So be a part of the conversation every single day and add your voice to the discussion. You can also head on to our YouTube channel. It's at Official Upgrade TV. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and invite your families and friends to join the show right now. And when I open the phone lines much later, I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that the government is even making any effort to curb or completely end insecurity and kidnappings in Nigeria? That's the question. But allow me to let you in on my quote for today, and let's all ponder on it. And it's very simple. It says, it takes leadership to improve safety. And this was from Jackie Stewart. It's just a very short quote, but I want you to think deeply about it. It means that if we continue to have insecurity, like late Sani Abacha says, if it festers beyond 24 hours, right, you need to question the people that are in leadership. All right, so we'll delve into this much later, but I'm off on a break. When I come back from that break, I want to let you in on my news interest for the day. Stay. All right, so quick ones. I just want to quickly mention a lot of things before I would run off. First of all, this Kemi Badenoch, I think that's the way they pronounce her name. She unveils a 15-year wait for British citizens. I saw that video, and I was just like this watching. So from the reports, or from what her her campaign messaging is the fact that, there will be new laws that is, going to surround you attaining that British citizenship. You're going to have to live in Britain for 10 years. Then if you want the passport, I think you need to still wait for another 5 years, and you must have a very, very, what's it called, lucrative job, especially if you plan to bring your family, to apply for this citizenship. Everything she kept on saying, one thing that kept on, ringing in my head was the fact that, Auntie, I wanted to just ask a question. If the laws were like this, when your parents migrated to the UK, would you be a citizen today? Would it have been easy for you? I don't know whether this is playing to the gallery. I don't know whether she feels this is what the British people need to hear, to be able to vote her in. I don't know, but I'm just saying that, honestly, I've not really paid much attention to whatever it is that she's been saying. But, I mean, from a 12-month wait period, you are moving the wait for a passport to a 5-year wait period. From a 12, what's your justification? What's your justification? Bearing in mind that it is some people actually give their life to be able to do these things and get that passport so that they can start to enjoy what it takes to really be, benefiting from the system. And of course, since they are also contributing to the system legally. I feel like if everybody has gone into those countries legally, we shouldn't be making all these conditions too stringent. I wouldn't blame you, though. I actually blame my people, my Nigerian government, because if we're doing the right thing, I don't think anybody would want to live in it. I see. Anybody that knows me knows that if I stay beyond 2 weeks, abroad, my body will be itching me. I could barely move when I went to the UK because I was sick, the weather was too cold for me. Like, nobody really enjoys all those, very harsh weather conditions. People just go there because they want to survive. If things were better in Nigeria, I don't think anybody would want to stay in your country. So please, I just want to say that the reason I'm talking about it is because you are Nigerian. Whether you like it or not, you are British now, but you have Nigerian blood inside of you. I don't think it's a fair thing to start to tell people from 12 months you are moving it to 5 years to wait for a passport. Then you have a 10-year, you must have lived in the UK for 10 years before you can even start to apply. So by the time you now apply after that 10 years, you now wait another 5 years to be able to get the passport. Come on. Let's move on. So I saw this video and I thought to just, bring it to our notice, like a policeman that allegedly shot a road safety officer. I don't know, there was just so much ruckus in Abuja, and he was stripped naked and, carried into the road safety. I don't know what the problem is. See, before we start to give our security personnel weapons, guns and all of that, we have to really do some level of psychological evaluation, right? Because I don't even understand I don't even understand how it got to this point where a policeman would shoot, a road safety officer. I don't even know what's going on. But people are saying that this one is family matter. That it's only road safety that is authorized to arrest the police. But I don't know what the situation was. But I just thought it was good to mention that, please, our law enforcement agencies, before we hand guns to them, we must be sure of their stability, both mentally, physically, and emotional stability is very important. Then I'll move on to the next story. Before I take my final story for today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the age of, what's the word now? Age of retirement for medical doctors and healthcare workers at 65. So what I would say, I'm trying to pull out the story, but what I would say with this story is a good thing. But I also know that most people that are, at that age, some of them are still very, very mentally sound. They're still very much, active. I mean, my father is going to be 75 this year and is still very much actively working, right? So I would say that it would be nice if maybe some of them can then take on consulting and take on, like, so they become like, you know how you say advisory bodies and all of that, to be able to then counsel, the people that are still within the system. He approved an increase in the retirement age for doctors and other health workers from 60 to 65. And I think it's good because some people are still active, but when they do retire at that 65, I think it's important for them to still, some of them that are still very much, active to, what's the word? Be able to stay as consultants, consultants rather, to the medical institutions, because we need as many as we can get. And there are some peculiar cases within the medical sector that, honestly speaking, it is experience that would help you. All right, so today is International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. Yes, it was important for us to mention this. So the United Nations has designated February 6th as the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, recognizing the need for collective action to end this human rights violation. Now, FGM, that's the female genital mutilation, affects millions of girls and women globally, causing physical and emotional harm and perpetuating inequality and discrimination. So there's an urgent need for even more targeted, coordinated and sustained and concerted effort if we are to achieve our common goal of ending it by the year 2030. So let's, of course, the call to action is that we should all join forces to raise awareness, support survivors and work towards a world where every girl and woman can live free from female genital mutilation. Yes, we must step up the pace. All right. Yeah. On that note, circumcision, Sha. We used to do it before, but I don't know if they've stopped it now. But, one of the myths around female genital mutilation is the fact that, it curbs promiscuity, right? Those were one of the reasons, so, but honestly speaking, please, just stay away from that area. We need all the... we need all the sensation we can get in that area. I don't think it's a healthy practice. So please, if you are indulging or you still practice that culture or whatever it is, please, let's end it today. We'll take a break. Stay with me.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, Nigeria is grappling with a debilitating crisis, of insecurity and kidnapping, which has left countless citizens living in fear of their lives. Now, the country's security landscape is marred by rampant abduction, armed robberies, violent attacks, perpetuating a sense of hopelessness and despair. And despite the government's repeated assurances and efforts to address this scourge, the problem persists, raising fundamental questions about the sincerity and the effectiveness of the fight against insecurity and kidnapping. We're asking, is the government genuinely committed to targeting these guys and tackling this crisis, or are its effort mere window dressing? These critical questions demands, of course, an urgent examination of the government's strategies, actions, and will to confront the entrenched threats to national security. So the recent story that just broke the internet this today was the kidnapped Anambra lawmaker that was found dead, right, at a bridge in at a bridge in what's the word now, Niger. So from the report, the lifeless body of Justice Azuka, the member representing Onitsha North 1 constituency in Anambra State House of Assembly, has been found by security operatives near the second Niger Bridge. Azuka was reportedly kidnapped on the 24th of December 2024 along the Ugwuanobangba Road in inland town Onitsha, where while returning for Christmas, he was abducted at gunpoint in a swift operation that lasted less than 5 minutes. And now, of course, there's a report of his dead body, right? In the early hours of today, at the second Niger Bridge, the joint security team comprising of the police and the AVG operatives on a mission to rescue the abducted person, of course, found his lifeless body at the scene. As soon as, of course, they get more information, we'll get to learn more about this. I think the stories are endless, right? When it comes to insecurity, kidnapping, the stories, you literally have, you wake up every day and you hear one story or the other about somebody being kidnapped. And now these days is so interesting what is going on. You know, before, when the person is kidnapped and a ransom is paid, they release the person. You know, I saw a story last week. I think the lady, after the ransom had been paid, they still found her lifeless body, right? So that is why questions have been going round, asking, truly, is the government really, are there efforts to curb insecurity and kidnapping, or are these mere rhetorics or genuine attempts? Like literally, the rate at which insecurity is just flying all over the place, it doesn't seem like there are genuine attempts to address the problem. I think it was yesterday I was on this lady's page, Diary of a Kitchen Lover. She shared a very emotional story of how armed robbers came to their home, right? I want to just pick the year. Armed robbers came to their home many years ago, and how, you know, they were harassing the father. They brought out, you know, weapons, harassing the father that he needed to give them money. And the man kept on saying there was no money, there was no money. She actually, you know, celebrated the fact that she thanked God that they are all alive. She was only 13 years old. And this story that she narrated, do you know why it's so interesting? The story kind of resonates with a lot of us. So the story was she was 13 years old. They had come in, you know, there was no lights, NEPA, of course, usual thing. Told everybody lie down flat with guns, different things. The next thing, they took the father to a room in an attempt to want to get in. The man kept on shouting he didn't have money, he didn't have money. But there was a window, right? So all of a sudden, they didn't even know when the man jumped out from the window. And then, of course, you know, of course, he tried to. So they were kind of confused. The man has jumped, the man has jumped. They took cutlass and hit the mother on the head, blood gushing out, right? With the blood, the mother still tried to push them somewhere to hide them and lock that door so they don't have access to them. Like, from what she narrated, it was so, I can imagine a 13-year-old, it was so horrific. It was terrifying. They had thought maybe the father would have, you know, because jumping from a story building, you think, oh, this man is gone. But thankfully, you know, she was just celebrating the fact that she was grateful to God that they were all alive. And this story, from her report, she said that it happened in, the year was, let me find that year, 2003. Now, fast forward to today, it's still the same thing that we're seeing. We're still hearing people that will be in their homes, robbers will come in. I mean, my mother's restaurant, one evening like that, we were just all sitting down. Normally, when the restaurant, once it's evening, the crowd is a bit lighter and, you know, we get to relax instead of from the, you know, movement of the whole day. My mom and my dad, they were sitting in their usual corner outside, just chilling. The next thing, we were inside. Next thing, we kept on hearing, where's the money, where's the money? You know, with a gun and all of that. But me, God knew that I had worked too hard to allow one armed robber collect the money. So if you know what I did, but please don't try this. I don't know where the courage came from, but do not try this at all. Next time when you hear them, where's the money, just give them the money. But what I did was I snuck from where we were hidden, because the man did not know that there were more people. I snuck, I tiptoed. So this was the year where they used to have bank wrappers. I don't know if you know those bank wrappers. So because of the volume of transactions we used to do in the restaurant, we used to have those, so when you count the money, you put it inside that, what they call them, the bank wrappers. So what I had done was that I just switched the money bag, because we had a money bag and we had the bank wrapper bag. I switched the place. I carried the money bag away from there because I know my mother was panicking. So that was how the guy took my mother with a gun. He hit, till today, my dad has, something in his eye because of that gun, the impact of the gun. They had to do a surgery, for him. He took my mom there and picked the bag. After picking the bag, the next thing that happened was he just jumped on the motorbike and he went with his partner. Immediately they left. I came out and said, Mommy and Dad, if you know what is good for you, let us start to be going. So we locked up. By the time we locked up, it was on our way. And I told my parents, I said, that money is not money that the guy took home. It is bank wrappers. So in case he gets to where his destination and he finds out that there's no money in that place, he might come back, and this time around, he'll come back with a lot of vengeance. So we ran away. But this is just to share on a lighter note. I want to say that, and this year was, I think I was still in secondary school. This year was how many moons ago? So you now imagine that stories like this are what people face on a daily. Thank God for the emergence of estates and all of that. Estates now kind of like curbs. All those come, you just hear, you are in your house, you just hear somebody knocking. Or yeah, open the door, everybody lie down. All those things have kind of like it has reduced a bit because of these gated estates that we have these days. But the subject of kidnapping is still very much ongoing. It's still there. So the question I keep on asking is, what is the role of corruption, right? The role of incompetence, and of course the role of lack of political will in this persistent insecurity and kidnapping that we keep on hearing every single day. Now, they're not just kidnapping. They're not just collecting ransom. Like, literally, we saw how this thing built up. Because I remember that I'm from Edo State, I'm from Benin. I remember that there was a time, it was now said that please, because most times in Christmas, just like the way the Igbos do, a lot of people from Edo State, they actually go back to Edo State. They want to do Christmas because it's usually it's usually fun, because you just meet all the people that had traveled outside of the country, everybody. So I remember when it started, literally I was still, I think maybe my early years in the university, maybe year 1 or something, right? That was when we started hearing cases of kidnapping. They would say, don't go. And then it was kind of like targeted. It's either maybe you're an expatriate, you're a white person, or these Niger Delta people. It started like that. All of a sudden, how kidnapping became a business in this country, till today, I'm still yet to wrap my head around it. So is it coming from the fact that there is corruption and it has eaten deep, that right now, these guys that are sponsoring these kidnappers are actually the people in power? That's the question. Or is it as a result of incompetence, the fact that they don't even have a clue on how to solve this problem, or they don't just have the political will, right? They don't have the political will to just kill corruption and kill insecurity and kill kidnapping in this country. Because how can a government, right, and security agencies, how can they just be there and things like this are just having free reign to just keep on doing? Everybody just kidnap who you want to kidnap, attack who you want to attack, right? And these security agencies are not held accountable for their actions or inactions in these cases. And, they don't seem to be addressing insecurity or kidnapping. I'm just talking from what I can see on face value. Because yes, they come out, they tell you, they are doing this, they are doing that. But that is what they say. What is happening on the streets on a daily basis is completely opposite, right? The boldness at which people are, brazenly committing these crimes is as though that they have been given that mandate. Because I don't understand how we got to where we are, right? Now it is, you have to be intentional about being careful. Now we don't even know the criteria for who they kidnap. Before, there is a profile. You have to have a lot of money. You have to, literally, there was a profile for the candidates that they kidnap. Now they just kidnap anybody. So it is. So that's why we're asking, why can't these security agencies, or the government, why are they not able, to address the insecurity challenges and the kidnapping challenges, and what is causing it, and why are we not holding them accountable? But we'll go on a short break now. When we come back from that break, right, I want to share more insight on. So I had to go to check online to see, okay, what would be the sign, what would be the proof that a government is serious about curbing insecurity? If we start to see these things, maybe we can, say, yes, this one they are doing it, check. This one they are doing it, check. Maybe let us even see, maybe if what they say, that there's a genuine, there's a genuine fight against criminals, and they're actually pushing back to make sure that they empty these people from our systems. Maybe yes, but we need to know those signs, because you remember that I took a story, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, where the man was mentioning the forest. He mentioned different forests. Remember those forests? I think there were about 9. That he says, if you truly want to curb insecurity in this country, if you want to completely eradicate it, it means that all those forests should be leveled. Till today, I've not heard any forest being leveled. So let us go on a break. When we come back, we'll share more insight on what shows that a government is serious about curbing insecurity. Stay with us. Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. All right, thank you for staying tuned. So we're still discussing kidnapping and if there's a genuine fight against insecurity in Nigeria. Okay, my people, I've been calling numbers. So where are my regular callers? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also call our phone lines, right? The numbers to call are 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Please let us hear what you have to say. Do you think the government is actively fighting insecurity, or you think they're just, there's no genuine intention to curb insecurity in the country? All right, so we'd love to hear what you have to say. So I want to say that a government that is actively fighting insecurity will demonstrate several clear signs through policies, actions, and outcomes. Now, some of the key indicators that I found would be strengthened security forces. So imagine you have like increased recruitment, training, and equipment of military and police forces. So I see this happening all the time. You hear that, there are recruitments going on and all of that. But you see, where we are right now, with the population that we have, I think we need a lot more. We've heard of complaints from our military personnel saying that it's just like you're going to a gunfight with a cutlass, right? Some of the kinds of machineries that this bandits and this what do you call them? This guys, the hoodlums or whatever it is that you call them, what they have compared to what our personnel have, our security personnel, sometimes it cannot be compared. I remember one time in school, in the university, some sets of armed robbers came. They were wearing the military khaki. That was a day in my life I saw how when you say, policeman, this story I've shared it several times, policeman, because what they did, they drove into our school. That time we only had 2 banks. I think it was All State Trust Bank. I can't remember the second bank. So they were at the junction of that bank. Like this straight down is a police station. Then our school this way, then the bank. So they positioned, it was a woman, I can't forget her. She was in military uniform. They came in speedboats and she wore a machine gun chain. And she held the machine gun chain and faced the police station. It was non-stop till they left that robbery. That gun did not stop firing. The police people removed their uniform and they were running into the bush because you cannot blame them, right? There has to be, you have to equip this security personnel to be able to fight these people. They were not equipped. So that they go die. They removed their uniform, they were running into the bush. So when you see that a government has increased recruitment, intense training, and they are equipping both their military and the police forces, then you know that that government is serious and they are really ready to fight this situation. Instead, what we see are different truckloads of, container loads of weapons being seized. We don't know who is importing them. We don't know how these guns are entering our country. That's what we keep on hearing in the news. So the second point will be deployment of security personnel to high-risk areas. So remember what I said. They said that there are bushes, there are forests, there are this, there are that. This is, I mean, if a government is serious, now all of that place, you're supposed to just pack everybody, go there. Say, oh yeah, you should not come back until that place is completely cleaned up from all these bandits and all of that. That shows that the government is ready. Improved intelligence gathering and counter-terrorism strategies. That one they will tell you all the time. Because if you listen to the news, oh, they are doing intelligence gathering, they are doing these counter-terrorism strategies. But come on, there are people that are feeding these people. There are people that are feeding them. There is, I mean, they do transactions. Was it not the other day we saw on TikTok where a bandit was showing off his largesse from what's it called, ransom money? Do you get my point? So these things, if you truly have improved intelligence gathering and you're also doing these counter-terrorism strategies, it will show in your results, So I'll move on to the second point, right? Legislative and policy reforms. So the first one is deployment. The first one is strengthened security forces, right? That's number one. So under that is the recruitment, training, equipment, and of course deploying them to the high-risk area and improving intelligence gathering as well. So if you move on to legislative and policy reforms, right? Under that, we will have enactment of stronger laws against crime, terrorism, and insurgency. See, the more we continue to overlook the impact of a weak justice system, the more we'll continue to have crime in this country. It's a simple thing. So you must also, part of legislative and policy reform is to strengthen our borders. You must have strong border control policies to prevent arms smuggling. Remember what I said? You will just be hearing the news. Remember how many stories we've heard of they will bury, arms under yam, under this, under that, container loads of arms. How did they come into the system? How are they being smuggled into the system, right? And all this illegal migration that we see, people that are not Nigerians coming into Nigeria easily. How is this happening? So you must really strengthen the border control. Then you must also have improved legal frameworks for prosecuting criminals. If you don't do that, you must improve it. So whether it is a crime of theft or is a crime of anything, that improved legal framework needs to be solid. If people know that you don't joke, like there are some countries, you dare not take drugs there. Because if you enter their border and they catch you, they don't even waste time. They will just unalive you. They don't even waste time. So I don't know why we keep on, what's it called? Why we keep on having a weak justice system and we think that we can fight illegalities and insecurities. We can't fight it. We must strengthen that part. Then community engagement and intelligence gathering. Collaborating with local communities to gather intelligence on security threats. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There are people, if you follow the money you follow the food, you follow the whatever keeps them going, right? You will find something. You also need to, create things around neighborhood watch programs and civilian security partnerships. We've talked about state policing, we've talked about different things. There are also all these vigilantes and all of that. Those kinds of things are the premise to which you can then build stronger security systems, right? People can watch. You see, abroad, if you just move anyhow small, they don't call 911, say, Blake, there's somebody that is not moving, just come and check, right? So imagine if we're intentional about checking. We can't keep on saying, oh, it's not my business. Everybody now becomes that neighborhood watch. You must become a civilian security agent, right? So military personnel must partner with civilians to be able to fight insecurity. So when you see those things happening, you will know that the government is really working. Then you must also do something around whistleblowing, which is encouraging them and protecting them. But you see, in this country, we've heard of cases where people go to blow whistle. As soon as you are getting to your house, they say, okay, so you had the effrontery to go and blow whistle, because the person you went to blow the whistle to is the person that we call the people you went to blow about. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So say, come, this person came to blow whistle on you. You can't even trust that if you tell the security personnel that these are the people that are the miscreants, they're the hoodlums or whatever around this area, you can't guarantee your safety. So if you see whistle-blowing policies, enacted, and the informants are protected, then you know that the government is serious. When we keep on hearing cases of how somebody went to blow whistle and the next thing, they unalive the person, that shows you that they are not ready for it. Then we must also have something we talk about, technology. Now, technology can, whether we like it or not, right, in this age and time where we are in, we must invest in technology and surveillance. But you see, my challenge with Nigeria is that they have installed CCTV cameras in some places. But you see, most of the time, a politician is always thinking about the next election. If we install CCTV cameras and they are working, if we are smuggling ballot boxes and we are doing all those things during the election, what is going to happen? If the people decide to say they want to call the CCTV camera footages and all of that, okay, on that note, cut it, let it not work. But there's a bigger picture. If you really want to solve our problem right now, we must take advantage of technology. Use CCTV cameras, use drones, right? AI-powered security systems. You must also implement biometric identification systems that tracks criminals. All these things that we're talking about, our sensors, let everybody be counted and accounted for. Like literally, by my thumbprint, they will know where I am. Do you understand? Like, thank God for technology. It is so improved these days that some of these challenges that we are battling with, we are acting as though we are living in the Stone Age. Because technology can help curb some of these criminal activities. But you see, if the government is not ready to embrace it, then we are not ready to grow. We also need to do something we call digital monitoring of financial transactions. Remember what I said, follow the money, to cut off funding for all these criminal networks. Because I don't understand how criminals continue to get funding. They continue to eat. They are fat, they are well. They even have time to do video to tell you this is what I'm doing. Haba. Somebody is turning a blind eye. Because if you really want to trace a criminal in this country, you just need to follow the money. You need to follow the money. And the money is different ways. Is either you follow the cash or you follow the welfare system for those criminals, or you follow transactions, right? Digital transactions. And these are all things that you could do. Another way to check that a government is on top of the game when it comes to dealing with or curbing insecurity would be swift and decisive action against criminals. For as long as we keep on hearing that, oh, they are granting amnesty to criminals, somebody will say, oh, I have the list of the people, but I cannot just say their names and all of that. For as long as we continue to hear that, then we are not ready. Because there has to be clear and decisive actions against criminals in this country. It means that you arrest and prosecute, even if it means that those key figures. You remember our former president Jonathan said, they say they know the people. So if you know the people, why are we not naming names? Why are we not arresting these people? Because you must arrest. There are people that are funding insecurity in this country. and they are big people. If you really want to solve this problem, we need to see big names go down. Then you know that you are ready. So you must continue to arrest and prosecute key figures that are involved in these organized crimes, because these are all organized crimes. Terrorism and banditry is not a one-man show. It has to be a syndicate. Kidnapping, terrorism, banditry, it's a syndicated work. It's just like drugs, right? They are all syndicated work. Anything that is criminal, one person cannot be that powerful. It has to be a group of people. So once we start to see key people being arrested, right, then we know that, yes, we are ready to fight corruption. We must also have consistent raiding on criminal hideouts. So those 9 forests that the man said they need to demolish, all those hideouts, and, we must continue to consistently raid them. And we must see the destruction of their supply chains. I've said it. Food. Like literally, and they talk like this, and I'm a small girl. Now imagine all these people that say they are intelligence gatherers, they are military people, they are whatever. How can you not know these things? And why are we not seeing it being done? Or is it that they know it and they are turning a blind eye? Then you must also have clear consequences for security personnel involved in corruption or aiding criminals. So you see, and this cuts across everything, because crime is crime. The people stealing our oil, you remember there was a report that came out one time where they said that vessels, so our oil, they don't even steal them in kegs. It's vessels, ships that just keeps going. So tell me, how can a vessel leave the shores of this country without some security personnel aiding them? It is impossible. That is how somebody will kidnap somebody from Lagos, move the person to a different country. There are checkpoints everywhere and nothing happens. Come on. We need to be very clear. Are we ready to fight this thing? If we are ready to fight it, then these are clear signs that shows that we are fighting it, right? Because there are people aiding and abetting corruption, aiding and abetting criminals, aiding and abetting crimes in this country, terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. And we're not touching those people. For as long as we're not touching them, of course, we're not ready to solve the problem. There's an economic and social intervention as well that we can also explore. So investment in job creation, because again, the idle man, they said, is the devil's workshop. And of course, I've said this thing several times. You have a boisterous youth population doing absolutely nothing, right? What do you expect if somebody comes to tell them that, come, just hold this laptop for a month and you start to make $1,000 daily? What do you think they will do? Of course, they would engage in Yahoo. The same thing. So if you do not invest in job creation, youth empowerment to reduce crime, and drive down the statistics of poverty in this country, then you're not ready. So when you see a government that is investing in economic empowerment and job creation, so it is not those ones you just go and do and you give them keke mara and all of those things. No. Intentional job creation that leaves room for self-sufficiency, right? They are able to stand on their own. You're not throwing fish at them. You're not giving them 5,000 naira relief funds. No. When you see a government doing that, then you know that the government is fighting actively to curb down all this crime. So, of course, rehabilitation programs. Now, this one, I'm a bit tricky with it because, honestly speaking, I don't know. I don't know if we truly have ex-militants, ex-terrorists, and ex-criminals. I don't know. But that is one of the things that I found that could help, rehabilitation. But I don't subscribe to that, right? You can also support the, again, one of the biggest people that are affected once some of these things are happening are the people that are displaced, or the internally displaced persons, that are displaced. So you must see that the government actively trying to reinstate them back into their homes. We've heard so many stories about how some of these places are intentionally kept under unsafe conditions so that they can continue to explore or exploit them, or exploit the people from their mineral resources and all of that. Some of those things are also arguments that have come out, over the years. If a government is also trying to curb insecurity and also fight, this menace, they must also be seen to be strengthening regional and international cooperation. So you must continue to collaborate with neighboring countries. So we have a lot of border countries around us in Nigeria. So all these cross-border crimes that happens, you can actually partner with neighboring countries. You must also partner, to fight against terrorism, right? And there are global initiatives that helps us to do that. You must also be willing to share information, intelligence sharing as well, with international security agencies. Remember when US came, said they want to help us fight Boko Haram. The report that we heard was that they said they carry their load, they go back, because based on waiting they see, you know, be like say we're ready to fight this thing. It's like we are rubbing shoulders with them. We are in bed with them. That's the report that we got, but I don't know. So you must be ready to clearly, you know, if you do not have the capacity, bring other countries that have been able to curb these things and let them help you fight it. Then you must also be intentional about improved emergency response, right? Emergency response is very, very, very critical. So once people see that the government cares, right, compensation, settlement, and all of that, it will be hard for somebody to come and convince you to come and steal from your government. You must be very clear. The government must be seen to be empathetic. I'm trying to rush this through, right? The government must be seen to be empathetic. You must have improved emergency response and victim support programs. You know, we can't be begging our country, our leaders. There has been a flood, there has been something, and you be just... So literally, right, the more you neglect the people, the bigger the room you give for the people that are looking for idle people to use as weapons against your country. So when the government is not seen to be empathetic, when the government is not seen to care enough for the well-being of its citizens, then you're just positioning yourself for disaster, right? Medical support for victims of attack. You must have all these response teams. People are there, they will tell you how nobody came to their aid, and they've been there for years. There's something that I noticed when I was growing up in Kaduna. Then it was President Obasanjo that was the president. I remember that throughout all those outbreaks of the Sharia crisis, it was almost like an immediate thing. Immediately the fight is happening, there's already... So within 24 hours, you will see military people flood the entire street, they declare curfew and all of that. So yes, there were pockets of killings, but I am sure that because of those emergency and quick responses, it kind of curbed the number of people that we lost to those kinds of conflicts. We need empathetic leadership. We need leaders that care enough that one human life, one Nigerian life matters. And it shows in all the little things that we do. They give you a COVID relief, package. You go and keep it, that you are using it as a souvenir for your birthday. What does that tell you about that leader? So there's a lot that we can unpack. You know, when you displace people, compensation and resettlement programs must always be in place. We need development, no doubt. We need a lot of infrastructure, no doubt. But you see, in all of those things you're doing, I have a friend that consults for some of these big organizations globally, and his job is this compensation and resettlement programs for the displaced people. So when a company is coming to that region and they're trying to set up, all he goes to do is the sustainability plan for the people that are going to be displaced from their homes, from their whatever, from their jobs and all of that. And they start to do what? Intentionally build schools, build hospitals, build, new homes for these people to just attach dignity to human life, right? So in all of those things, those are physical. There's also a psychological support for victims that we need to have. And this doesn't stop at victims. Security personnel are also affected by violence, right? The reason a security personnel, in my opinion, would compromise, right? And to say, I beg, let me just, it's a lot of things. First of all, the man knows that by the time, or the woman knows that by the time they are done serving, before they go see pension. The other day I was listening to Uncle Jimmy Disu on radio, and some old security personnel, like they were soldiers that had served in the military, They were just lamenting how they had not received their pension, for goodness sake. What are you expecting the young people to do? When you are not paying them pension, what do you think the young people will do? I have to make sure that I secure my future. So some of these things that they do, that they turn a blind eye, and they make sure that they are able to help these syndicates do their job, they get heavily paid for it. And for them, that is their pension. That is what guarantees that they will not suffer. So we must provide support both for the victims and security personnel, especially security personnel, because they are most affected by violence. I see a lot of trauma relief programs that they do for military guys in the US that have gone to fight in the Iraq war and all those, Afghanistan and all of that. You would see them visibly shaking, traumatized. Some of them, at the sound of loud noise, they are shaking. So when they come out from those regions, they put them through series of psychological therapy. So what are we doing for our own people when we're not even able to pay them pension? Like literally, you go abroad, you bring out a military ID. It's like you are king, right? You can go anywhere. You have premium parking. You have discounts at almost all the stores, even in restaurants. Everywhere you go, you want to buy a flight ticket, you have discounts everywhere. They've served with pride. We need to put some dignity to the lives of our security personnel. I'll say that the final point would be increase public confidence and reduce crime rates, right? This is simple. A visible decline in crime rates, terrorism or insurgency, once we start to see it visibly, we are not hearing stories of it anymore. Because another crime is still ritual that is happening, and we are hearing of it almost every day, right? Citizens feel safer, and they are more willing to cooperate with security agencies once this starts to happen. And media reports, of course, showing a reduction in the attacks, kidnapping, or armed robbery. But as long as we keep on flipping the pages of the newspapers, or we go on social media and we keep seeing some of these reports, it will trigger something in us. So for us to really curb, or for us to show that there's a sign that the government is fighting it, it is when we now have an increased public confidence, right? That yes, crime rates are truly reduced in Nigeria. So for as long as that is not happening, I'm sorry, it is not an attack on your government, because that is what our politicians are quick to throw around. You're attacking my government. You want to overthrow me from power. That's not it. The only reason somebody will go out to say they want to probably protest or something is because they are seeing that, yes, lives are being lost, right? So I would say that a government that is truly committed to fighting security will take a multifaceted approach. You must combine everything that I've said, combining law enforcement with economic issues, social, and of course, diplomatic measures. If insecurity remains high, despite government claims, it may indicate a lack of commitment. Not be me talking. Of course, it can also indicate poor strategy. It can also indicate corruption within the system. I'll wrap this show to say again, late Sani Abacha said, if insecurity lasts beyond 24 hours, it means that the government has a hand in it. Not be Uwatoka, and Sani Abacha Toka. So I'll leave you to ponder on all of the things that I've said. Is our government really intentional about curbing insecurity? Is there a genuine fight about curbing insecurity? That's the question for tonight. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my rants. All right, so before I go, ensure you subscribe to all our social media handles, our YouTube channel. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social engagements, right, online. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed this very short but very potent, what's it called, quote, here it is again. It says, it takes leadership to improve safety. Simple. So the fact that we continue to have insecurity in our country, it means that we have a weak leadership structure. Not be me talking, it is Jackie Stewart that said it. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as I bring you another great conversation. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.